What's up, travelers? This is Prince Nix coming to you from the Cineverse. I'm out here in the legendary Hollywood Hills, and today I want to ask you a question. Has there ever been a time where you didn't listen to somebody because you didn't like them? Or maybe you picked up a book, you read it for like 5 minutes, and you said, this is silly, threw it down, never to be heard from again. Or maybe you've been listening to somebody and their beliefs or their background didn't align with yours, and you said you tuned them out completely. Now, in this video, I want to talk about some of the reasons why that happens and how, if you can get around this, you can drastically increase the rate in which you learn. So let's get right into it. So I was doing some research recently and I came across something called the 25 cognitive biases. And this basically explains the reasons why people do things in everyday interactions. Now, if you want to learn more about the 25 cognitive biases, you can look up Charles Munger's work and he talks in depth about that. I'll even leave the name below so you can learn more about it. Now, with these 25 cognitive biases, it started me thinking about the reasons why people don't listen to somebody, or the reasons why somebody wouldn't absorb knowledge from a certain particular individual. Now, when you look at this, there's a number of reasons, but the reasons I want to highlight more specifically, or the ones I've encountered the most, is the disliking and liking tendency. So how does this manifest itself? For example, if you like somebody, you tend to listen to them. I mean, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's your grandmother, maybe it's somebody you admire, somebody you respect, you'll tend to listen to them. But this can also be dangerous because that person may be able to give you false knowledge or knowledge that's not helpful to you or whatever you're doing in life, and you'll listen to it because the liking tendency, you tend to distort facts and distort reality in order to make the person you're liking correct. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the disliking bias. And the disliking bias basically says that you're going to distort the facts to make the person seem like they're wrong, and you're not judging it on the merits of the individual saying the words or giving or telling you the idea. Now, this is a drastic limitation because you're always looking for someone to be similar to you, or you have to like somebody in order to learn from them. And some of the people that you may not like or may not have similar backgrounds or similar to you may have something that you can learn from them. So the easy way to get around this is you have to understand that you have to divorce the content from the actual person speaking. And once you do this, you're able to learn a lot quicker because you're never looking at the person and saying, well, do I like this person? Or do they believe the same things I believe? You're just looking at the person, looking at the content and saying, is this content helpful? And another point I want to make with this is that you don't always have to listen to every word somebody says and follow it. You can just pick out the parts that you want, the parts that are specific or that are relatable to your life or whatever you're doing. Every point you're going to make, you're not going to agree with every point that anybody makes. But if you're looking at the person like either you like them, you have to believe everything they're saying, or you dislike them, you have to believe nothing they're saying, then you're drastically limiting yourself in the ways that you can learn. So to illustrate this point, I thought of a concept called the circle of knowledge. And your circle of knowledge is everything that you know up to this point. So that's made up of your identity, your education, your background, your upbringing, and it forms a circle of knowledge. And in order to actualize things that you want, whether it be business or whether in life in general, you have to expand your circle of knowledge. So I use the example of a doctor. If somebody wants to become a doctor, they have to go to college, they have to go to med school to expand their circle of knowledge so they can become a doctor. So in the same vein, or kind of in a similar track, you look at somebody who wants to become, say, a millionaire or drastically successful. Let's use the extreme example of a billionaire. In order to become a billionaire, you're going to have to get your circle of influence expanded to that type of mindset. And how can you do that? Now, most people are going to tell you mentors, and that's of course true. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get a mentor, but at the same time, if you don't have access to a high-level mentor, the next best thing is to go read books. Read books about these people's lives, about their successes and their struggles. And this goes back to what I was talking about the biases, because if you don't have a bias, you're able to look at the books and look at them more objectively and say, you know, I'm going to look at how this can help me, how this particular topic or something they learned or some type of mindset they have, I can use in my life or I can use in my business and apply that. And you're not worried about if the person is somebody you like or if they believe something similar to you. If you can do that, if you can divorce the person from the content, you're going to be able to create a massive boost in your learning because you're never limited by the sources or resources that you can learn from. So I hope that's been helpful to you. This has been Princeton, and I'll see you next time.